welcome back to my channel. Today I need to get out of this book slump. I had a really bad reading month last month in February actually. Let me see what I read. I recently just got Fable, so I've been tracking my stuff on there. Last month I read 3 books. I reread The 7 Year Slip, I read Winter Garden, which I loved, and then I read I Have Never Known Man, and that was it for the month. However, I picked up quite a lot of books, started them, and just didn't manage to finish them last month, so I'm going to go through them now. I'm partway through 4 books at the moment, and they're all intense, like in their own ways, and I think that is the problem. So the first one is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I started this potentially even the end of January, but I've been proper annotating it and going through it, and to be honest I have been loving this, but it's not every day that I do want to sit down and read a classic. I think I only have 100 pages left, maybe even less than that, but this is just not what I'm in the mood for. And then I have Severance by Ling Ma, which I did start. I am 86 pages in and I was enjoying this, but once again, just not in the mood for it, I don't think. Like, sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not, but I feel like this is one that I just want to digest all in one go, and when I'm not in the mood to do that, it gets pushed to the side. Then I have a book that I'm really enjoying, but once again, just not in the mood for it sometimes. It's a non-fiction. Is it a biography if it's not written by the actual people? It's Diddy Number Bits. I'm quite a way into this. I'm on page 164 and I'm really enjoying it. It's about the 2 authors and their frenemy situation, their backgrounds and that kind of thing, and it is very interesting, but not what I'm in the mood for. And then lastly, Becoming Supernatural. I'm trying to read like one mindset-y, spiritually book a month. We have a couple chapters left of this, but I once again fully annotating, that kind of thing, which I love, and I find this so fascinating, and I think it's a great book, but it's not something I'm in the mood to read every day. So I feel like the problem with these books, it seems to me that they take a lot of brain power, and sometimes when I'm wanting to read, I'm not wanting to use my brain. I need light, simple reading. And I know this contradicts everything I've been saying at the moment of like wanting to expand my reading taste. I have expanded. I enjoy these books, but I think I just need something a bit more light-hearted, something a bit easier to get into, just a story that doesn't take brain power. So that, I think, is what I'm going to be doing this week to try and get out of this slump. I did start a book last night actually. I started We Hunt the Flame last night. I think I'm on page like 50. I don't know. I started it and I think I'm definitely going to continue with it. It wasn't taking brain power, but there was a lot of words that were confusing, new concepts, as there are in fantasy books. And I just wasn't expecting so many new words, because I swear this is a YA, so I thought it would be a bit more simpler, but I'm going to carry on with it because I'm only 50 pages in. I just got too tired. I do like to go into fantasy books and read the first 100 pages all in one go, because I feel like after 100 pages you kind of can understand the world building, what's going on, that kind of thing. Now we've met the 2 main characters. She hunts in this foresty place that's like dark and kills animals in there to feed her people, and then he is the king's son and he is an assassin. I think it's a king, it's called like a sultan or something. I don't know what that is, but I'm inferring that it's a king. That might be me being really naive, but that is where we're up to. And then she has literally, on the page I'm at, has received this letter to go on this mission, which I think then will lead into the plot. So I am going to continue reading this today, and I will update you with my progress. I don't really know how many books I'm going to aim to read this week. I kind of just would like to finish a book. Oh, I did read a book this month. I did read How to Kill a Guy in 10 Ways, which was just a quick, easy thriller. Was it a thriller? I don't know, it's kind of one of those plots where women just go around killing other men. Very fun. I feel like as soon as the sun comes out, I love books like this. So this was easy, light reading. I finished it in a day, so I'm not saying I'll finish this today, but if you want to get a bit further into this today, maybe halfway, maybe finish it, I don't know, I might get really into the story. But I do know this is a duology and I don't have the second one. So if this ends where I then need to be going to the bookshop tomorrow, I'm going to be quite annoyed, but we'll see about that. So that is my plan for today. Hello, it is a couple days later now and I just thought I would give a reading update for We Hunt the Flame. This was slow to get into. I feel like my process with this has been, I read a tiny bit over like 2 days and then last night I've just binged it, not finished it. I thought about it, but then I thought, no, let me do a check-in, I'll put it down and then I'll finish it today. I think I read like 200 pages last night, just binging it, and it got so good. Like now I'm really enjoying it. I really like the two characters, so I don't know how much I've gone over in this reading vlog, but it is about Zafira and Nazir, and he is an assassin for the king. She hunts in this dark woods to feed her community, her family, etc. She gets sent on this mission by this witch to go and retrieve this book from this island to restore magic. Then he gets sent by the king to go on this trip to kill her, the hunter. So they then go to this desert, and at first I was really suspicious of the character that she went with. If you've read the book you'll know. But then something happens to them and then I felt really bad for misjudging them. But anyway, then they encounter each other and then they form an alliance, and they've since met 2 other people who were also in, it's called the Shah. It's kind of just this dark desert place that's full of monsters. And yeah, they're still where I'm up to. I think I have 150 pages left, so they're still on this mission. They've not quite found it yet. She's found out about these different affinities that the other characters have and what she has, which she never knew she had, which was actually very, very interesting. I think another thing I'm enjoying within this book is they're just like, some things need underlining. Like I feel like there's so many good quotes in this just about life, like about direction in life, your power, your self-worth, that kind of thing. The plan for the day is just to binge the rest of this because I'm actually really excited to find out what's happened. She's currently in a trickier situation. It just kind of all got good and then I was like, okay, wait, I'm gonna stop here and recuperate tomorrow because it was like pretty late last night. I think I didn't read until like 2 AM because I just really got into it. So yeah, it was a slow start, but I'm into it. In terms of my book slump, I feel like this may not have been the book to get me out of this because I feel like the whole time I've been reading this was very tricky to get into, I think, because there was so much world building, but also not tricky words, but just words I wasn't familiar with. This may not have been the most ideal book to get me out of it because the whole time I have been reading it, I've been wanting like a light, fluffy romance. Like I've been like, I just want the romance elements. I'm not sure I wanted the whole fantasy, but I am enjoying this now. But I think definitely my next book after this will be a light, fluffy romance. So yeah, that is my plan. I'm just going to binge this. Hopefully I can read all of this in one sitting. I'm on chapter 70 and I'm just excited to see what happens, to be honest. So that is what I'm going to do. Hello, long time no see. Well, probably not that long for you, but for me it's been about 3 days I think, but I have some book updates. So I did finish We Hunt the Flame. I don't actually know what I'm gonna rate this. I'm maybe gonna go 3.5. Like I don't feel like when I think of my other 4-star reads that this is really on the same level, but I did enjoy it. It definitely picked up at the end and it got very fast paced very quickly, and I enjoyed the characters more towards the end. I feel like it just seemed to get so much better. There seemed to be more of the plot. There was more revelations. Like, one of them I'd already guessed, but you know, so I enjoyed it towards the end, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading the second one, which is a bonus. I think I enjoyed the kind of, is it folklore? What is it? Like, the setting of it and that world and that world building. I did really enjoy that, and I think also her writing was very lyrical, and there were a few quotes that were very nice to read throughout it, just kind of about life, navigating life, finding yourself, that kind of thing. So I am excited to read the second one. It has set itself up really well for a strong plot in the second book. I didn't want to jump into the second book straight away after this one, but I think definitely sooner rather than later, because obviously the plot is fresh in my mind at this point. I finished that a couple of days ago, and then I got really ill, so I didn't want to pick anything up. But then yesterday I decided to pick up First Time Caller, because I just needed a cutesy fluffy romance. I just needed some light reading, just something easy, doesn't need a lot of concentration, and this has been great. I got to page 90. This one has really cool sprayed edges, which I really like, but I got to page 90 yesterday and I am enjoying it so much. It's about Aidan and Lucy, and Aidan runs this kind of late night helpline for romance, but he's fallen out of love with the idea of love, because he's had so many calls that are just negative and people complaining about their marriage, and he just now doesn't see the hope in it all. Lucy is a single mum and she is a mechanic, which I thought was really interesting. Her daughter phones in one night to say her mum is like lonely and needs help, and then Lucy and Aidan have a phone call and they click. It ends up going viral on social media, and then now the part I'm at is the radio management has invited Lucy to come on the show to kind of speak with Aidan, and they're going to help her find love. It has just been so funny. Love the way BK Borison depicts love and her language choices. This is exactly what I needed, and I'm very glad that I picked this up. So I think I'm going to continue this today, maybe finish it, I'm not sure. I feel like this is what is dragging me out of this book slump. Like, We Hunt the Flame was good, but it definitely was not light reading. I had to concentrate. This is just so light, so fun. Like, I've actually been giggling. This was a good choice, and I will let you know. I'll let you know whenever I have any more thoughts about it. I never thought I'd see a romance book reference Drake. That's just caught me off guard. I'm used to the Swifties taking over and everything is Taylor Swift related, and half of them go over my head because I'm not a Swiftie. But just here mentions Drake, and now I'm going to listen to Drake. I'm in the mood. I have been reading for a little while now and I love this so much. So she came on the show. I think that's what I last told you, is that she went on the show with him as her own segment, and turns out together they're gonna help find her love, find her dates, which I love that trope of like them two working together to find one of them dates. And to be honest, I just adore both the characters. I think she is so cute and so funny and so lovely, and he, in the scene we've just had, is so protective, and I loved it. I love the writing. It's kind of reminding me of Jessa Hastings in the sense of picking up on the really tiny details and making them sound wonderful, and it's very beautifully written. She's hanging out with her friends and it was just talking about the warmth and the belonging and the love, and it was just such a beautiful depiction of it. I'm loving it. I think it's so gentle, it's so lovely to read, and there's definitely some quotes that I want to go back and highlight. Yeah, I'm just going to carry on with this. I'm reading through this a lot quicker than We Hunt the Flame, but I'm kind of not quite halfway yet. I want to head downstairs for a bit, so I'm going to go and read some more of this. I don't think I'll finish it because I think I want to give another update just before I do, but yeah, very much enjoying this. Right now I think it's sitting at maybe a 4 or a 4.5 because I just feel like some parts I was thinking, oh, this could be a 5-star, but I don't know, I don't want to jump in too quick, so I will come back when I have some further updates. This book is too good. I have, I think, just over 100 pages left and I am so obsessed with this book. The scene we've just had, chapter 23, Chef's Kiss. Oh, I'm just loving this so much. I have been laughing out loud, chuckling to myself whilst reading this. His flirting literally has me going, like, I'm so caught off guard. He's such a flirt and I love him. Started off kind of grumpy sunshine because, you know, he'd fallen out with the whole idea of love and romance, but he was never quite grumpy to her, and I feel like I love that. Like, I've read a lot of romances where it's grumpy sunshine and they're grumpy to everybody, but he was never grumpy to her. He is just the sweetest man. Like, everything he does for her, everything he says to her, oh, he's just so cute. Oh, I'm just so obsessed with it. I also think, I've just read on here it says giddy grinning, and that is so true. That's been me all the way through it. I don't want it to end. I think that's why I've came here and given you this update now, because I've been binging it and I don't want to stop. I do not want to leave this story. I said before it was reading a bit like Jessa Hastings, but I want to take that back and say it's reading more like Emily Henry, which is a huge statement because my 2 favourite books ever are written by that woman, and I just love it. I think it is when there is so much depth within the characters, within the relationships, and written in such a beautiful way. All the similes, all the metaphors, the focus on the tiny details, like one of them is him saying her voice sounds like honey, that kind of thing. And if you've read an Emily Henry book and enjoyed them, then you know the feeling that an Emily Henry book brings. This has 100% put B.K. Borison higher on my radar. I did read Love Like Farms. I think that's the only one I've read of that series, but I have the rest of them, and that didn't feel like this one. Like Farms didn't feel like reading this book. This is a completely different feeling and I love it. It feels kind of like The 7 Year Slip, like a huge hug in a book. It feels like a love letter to romance and love itself. Like, it just is such a feel-good story, and I think I've read this at the best time and I'm having the best time reading it. So I am now going to cozy up and finish this book, which I am so sad to finish it. Like, honestly, do not want this to end, but I just love these characters. I love everything about it. I may have found a new favourite book. I don't know though. I'm gonna see how it wraps up. This, I'm honestly just so obsessed with it. Look, I'm sat there smiling, kicking my feet. It is so late right now, but as you just saw, I just finished First Time Caller. I'm actually a bit emotional. I've still got tears coming out my eyes. Oh, I don't know what to say. I feel like I said quite a lot of it in my update before the last like 100 pages ish. Oh, I just loved it. Like, I'm getting upset thinking about it, and I'm not sure, not upset, I'm just feeling all the emotions. Like, he was so sweet, and kind of the final hurrah and him healing. Oh, there was so much more to it than just a romance. I think that's why I was giving Notion to Emily Henry and 7 Year Slip, because those are not just stories of love, they're stories of growth, people finding themselves, and I don't even know what to say. My playlist was lining up. Like, for the scenes I was reading, the songs were incredible. I was laughing, I cried, I just thought it was so sweet, and none of it I thought was like silly, none of it made me cringe. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I think it's a 5-star. I've kind of got all the feels right now. I just want to see how long I think about it for to solidify whether it's a 5-star. I feel like all my 5 stars that I have, I've reread multiple times now, so they're like solid 5 stars. But this is a newbie for sure. I loved it. I want to reread it from the beginning all over again. I absolutely love this. I did see some reviews before actually saying it was pretty slow to get into, but I really didn't find it slow at all actually. I loved it. I loved all of it. It was a very cute book. So I think I'm going to wrap this video up here, because what I will say is, from me binging that book tonight, I think I'm out of the book slump, which is great. So I read We Hunt the Flame, which I think I'm going to give a 3.5, and I read First Time Caller, which is a 5-star, which is absolutely fantastic. I feel a bit like, do you know when you just finish crying and then you feel kind of mellow? Like, I feel like I just need to stare at the wall for a bit, which I guess is the sign of a great book, and I don't think I will be forgetting those characters for a while. I love Aiden. I think he might be a new book boyfriend for me. Let's bear in mind I've been ignoring my actual boyfriend's text to be reading that book. Thank you so much for watching, and I will speak to you very soon.